Howdy, folks. I'm Grotto Goblin of the Goblin's Grotto, and welcome to a very quick Kickstarter video. So, I am not sponsored, and I have said this many times, not sponsored by the campaigns that I feature on this channel. I've not received anything. If that ever changes, obviously I'll let you know, but yeah, I've never been sponsored by any of the Kickstarters I cover, just a regular backer like everybody else. And in this time, I've seen some inconsistent Kickstarters, and I've seen some, rewards that, came with delays, stuff like that, and various levels of quality that, weren't always up to snuff. But there are a few that I have never been let down by. And I really, really enjoy these creators that have some really unique molds and sculpts. Some of them are smaller, some of them are larger, and I think it's really important to highlight these, especially given the time relevancy of this one in particular. So, just want to do a little bit of a coverage of this, the Medieval Marginalia Miniatures Volume 3, and another one from Midlam Miniatures, which I will get to. So yeah, without further ado, Medieval Marginalia. I covered the first campaign of this on the channel a while back. I have backed Volume 2, and I will get into that later, and I've backed a few other things that our good pal Andrew May here has been involved in. And I say good pal, I don't know the man. Again, not sponsored. But as you can see here, the premise of the campaign is to depict all those strange little creatures that you find in the edges and corners of medieval manuscripts. And, they had some very funky, interesting ideas back in the day. So you can find quite an odd selection of different kinds of creatures. So, these are some of the things coming with Volume 3, and if you did miss the previous campaigns, you can pick those up as well. This is some of the older campaigns. This is all Set 1 stuff, and then you have Set 2 stuff right here. Not every single thing that was available in a previous campaign is also available now, but just a good chunk of it, so I highly recommend checking this campaign out. It's pretty reasonably priced. So I'm getting the set 3 for 58 US dollars or 45 euros. And there are optional add-ons as well. You can pick up a variety of things. But there's also specific tiers if you're like, well, I definitely want to get set 2. That's the one I want to grab. So just keep that in mind. And as you may have noticed, with set 3, there are a little selection of freebies and all sorts of little things like that. I really like this little guy with the hand pointing. He's very cute. As always, lots of little snail guys. Very cute. Now, keep in mind when these arrive to you, they're going to be metal miniatures, unpainted. They will not come on a fancy base like this, and they obviously won't come painted. So that is all going to be up to you. So you can let your creativity go wild, or you can come and try to replicate these cool paint schemes and all that. But I have really never been let down by this specific creator, Andrew May. They have collaborated with a few people in the past and recently, and they have been responsible for a number of really great campaigns. This is the one that I covered previously. You see, I did not discover them until they were a little late into their creations, but yeah, they do a variety of different themes and topics. I've backed this campaign, obviously 2 and 3. I haven't backed every single Kickstarter I've ever seen, but yeah, it's definitely go check out Andrew May, and if you're really interested in some extremely unique miniatures, I highly recommend checking out Medieval Marginalia Miniatures 3. And, again, not sponsored, but this person has not let me down or steer me straight up to this point, so I have the full confidence that they'll be able to figure it out and get all of these miniatures out to us post haste. So, Andrew May, Medieval Marginalia Miniatures, Volume 3. Check it out. The next campaign that I want to direct our eyes to is this, the Dwarven Infolk Dungeon Deep from Midlam Miniatures. So Midlam Miniatures is a company, less so than an individual person, although obviously there are people working at a company. This specific campaign is just their latest in a long line of recurring Kickstarter campaigns where they release metal miniatures, once again, that they have hand sculpted. Now, both Andrew and Midlam are primarily hand sculpting miniature groups, people, companies. They sometimes offer, alternatives and things like that, but primarily they are hand sculpting and then casting in metal, and then that's the product. This latest Kickstarter, as you can see, is very thematically focused around taverns and bars and specifically dwarves. But Midland Miniatures has covered a variety of products. They have a store that we can get into, but yeah, as you can see, this campaign is featuring all of these very funnily named and sometimes humorously sculpted dwarven figures, just having a grand old time at the local tavern. Midlam Miniatures, I have backed a handful of Kickstarters previously that I might get around to covering on the channel soon enough. I have actually had a whole video filmed, but not fully edited just because, I've had a lot of life things happening. But, yeah, I have had nothing but good things with this specific company in the past. So, I highly recommend checking them out. This specific campaign, as you see, it has all of these dwarven figures here, including some ones that I think you could probably fit into a number of scenarios in your fantasy settings, but also there is the additional add-on of this, the Adventurers Rest Inn, which is a bunch of human, or at least humanoid, tavern folk workers and patrons. Really great to see, really expands the set. You can pick up both. I am choosing to do that. There's a specific add-on. You can pick up both for 60 euros or about 78 US dollars, depending on the exchange rate. But you can, of course, sort of pick and choose and reserve things as you like. But yeah, I highly recommend checking this specific campaign out. And just as a bit of a background, Midlam Miniatures, again, they have their own store, midlamminiatures.co.uk. Again, I'm not sponsored at all by this person or company. I have just backed a handful of projects and been very satisfied with the results. There's usually not a long delay, which is, really impressive given, some of the things that's been going on in the world. But yes, they just wrapped up and started getting production concluded for this. The Guild of Beggars, Eastern Watch, on that. But you can see they have a very consistent format. I did not discover these at the start of their Kickstartering. So I did not back some of these ones down here, although at this point, nearly all of these miniatures have made it to their store. So if you go through these and you see something and you're like, whoa, I really want one of those, I would check out their store and see what's available. Like, I know that I have seen these Kraken Cult guys on their store because, Kickstarter is not a store. It is a means of funding projects. And the ultimate goal of funding these projects is to have products to then sell, and that is and has been the case for these Midlam miniature products. And I have not seen any of these not refunding. They get their goals met. They have very dedicated backer bases, and I every time I've received miniatures from these campaigns, I've been nothing but satisfied. I recently received my package for the Halfling City Guard, and I'll tell you, it was very, very good. I'm a big fan of this little combo here with the Sergeant Sandwich and the Porky Wrangler combo. These are just really cool, like, little unique miniature sets, and they're all hand sculpted. There's something that hand sculpted miniatures can capture that digital, wishes it could. Not to say that digital sculpting isn't also a really great art form of its own, but something about doing it by hand, you just get like a different kind of art and detail. I'm wondering if that's a reference to what I think it is. But yeah, I highly recommend checking out these campaigns, especially this one. As you can see, at the time that I'm recording this, it's 14 hours to go. Depending on how long it takes for YouTube to upload, it's probably going to be closer to 13 or 12 by the time it's up. But I am basically just going to trim this and throw it up on YouTube. So, yeah, again, highly recommend you check them out and support these creators who have been delivering pretty consistently and in high quality. Not every Kickstarter creator is nearly as consistent, and I can get into that on a later date because I do have some thoughts about some other campaigns that we might want to talk about soon. But these two Kickstarter creators, I have very full confidence in and highly recommend you check them out. So that's all for me today. I just want to give you a little update on these two campaigns and their creators. And so, yeah, have a good one. Take care. And yeah, if you got them, let's go paint some minis. Bye-bye.